Hello, my friends. So I decided I would do the recap as soon as the class got over so I could have it finished. Well, we missed you in class tonight, those of you who are watching the recap. And the topic was food. The topic was enjoying our food. Now, I'm not going to show the Susan Hyatt video, but she talks about the fact that the very first diet that was designed in the late 1800s, early 1900s, was by Dr. Graham. Now, anybody think it's something that starts with Graham? How about graham cracker? So Dr. Graham really wanted to control women, and he made the graham cracker because he thought if women only ate bread and water and fruit, then it would control how they behave. So don't you think that's interesting? The other thing we talked about is that our country and our diet industry has led us to believe that there are good foods and bad foods. Now, the gals in the morning class, when we were talking about, I'm going to see if I can show this here. When we were talking about good food, they were talking about fruits and vegetables and protein. And when they were talking about bad foods, it was candy and carbs and junk food. But the evening gals were quite different. Their good foods were things that were yummy. Michaela's mother's death by chocolate, Kit Kat, sushis. Bad foods were foods that were not yummy, and onions. So there was a total difference in what we considered good and bad foods. But what we want you to understand also is so often we eat in front of a screen. We eat in front of a computer screen or a television. And when we do that, our brain doesn't have the time, doesn't have the capacity to think about, boy, am I hungry or not? And so part of what we're going to have you do, and I'm going to share the PowerPoint, and so you can see some of the information we shared. Let me find it here. Oh, I might have closed it, so it might take me just a second to pull it back up. But we were talking about good food, foods that we like and foods that we don't. So one of the things that I had shared with you, I asked everybody to bring 2 foods to class. And I'm going to have you do this as well. A food that you like and a food that you don't like. Now, for me, the food that I like is Jif peanut butter, and I could eat it by the spoonful. And part of it is as I was eating it and thinking, and this is what I want you to do, was what is it about Jif peanut butter? Is it the salty? Is it the sweet? And the thing that I thought about when I was a kid, we would go to my grandma's house on Sunday afternoon after church, and we would stop at this, it was called the Balkan Bakery, and we would get this hard, crusty bread, and it was warm, and we would cut huge, big slices and slather it with peanut butter. So do I really like the peanut butter, or do I like the memory that the peanut butter gives me? Something to think about. Now, the food I don't like is ham. And I actually ate some of this ham. I'm not going to do it again because you guys didn't come to class, so you don't get to see me eat ham. But I have never liked ham. I just don't. I don't like bacon. I really don't like pork. I don't like bacon. I don't like ham. I don't like pork chops. I don't know what, and I can't even tell you whether it's the texture or whether I've got some mental block, just like the reason I like the peanut butter. Maybe I don't like ham for some other reason. So I want you to do this experiment. And actually, because during the week, I want you to start savoring your food. Now, when we asked the bold ambassadors, they said good foods were apples and carrots and salads, kind of like the morning class. And the bad foods were cookies and brownies and ice cream. But that's really not how I want you to look at it. We're going to talk about a concept in just a second called power foods and pleasure foods. And power foods are the things that make your body healthy and strong. And we're suggesting that 80% of your foods fall into the power category. Chicken and fish and, those sort of things, grilled chicken, broccoli. And actually, this whole list right here, what they put for good was actually pleasure foods. So if 80% of your food is power food and 20% is you have it just because you like it. Because when I get done with this, I'm going to run upstairs and I'm having a scoop of black cherry ice cream. And this is very different for me because my entire life I've struggled with the good food, bad food, legal food, illegal food. And I want you to start really figuring out what you like and what you don't like. The other thing is, are there some foods that you don't feel good afterwards that make you maybe have tummy ache, or you're sluggish, you can't think as smart, or you can't think as clearly? So this week, part of your challenge is to eat attentively. Now, in one of the emails I sent to the moms, or to you, who's ever getting the emails, was a clip of mindful eating. So go ahead and watch that as well, because it's going to sort of bring all this into conclusion. You shouldn't just eat for the sake of eating. A couple minutes ago, Allie was talking about she ate this week because she was bored. She was home all by herself, and she was sitting in front of her computer screen. So that's kind of a trifecta. No, that's a dufecta, two things. But it's not how we want you to consider your eating. The other concept we want you to take into consideration is eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full. In your workbook, there's a document called the hunger scale. And I'm going to read through what the definitions of those are. And so we want you to really start being aware of when you're actually hungry and eat between -2 and +2. But let me define -5. I'm so hungry, I could eat the tablecloth, my fork, my beloved child, anything. I am starving. The room is spinning and I am going berserk with hunger. Now, nobody needs to get to that here. That's when, for some reason, you don't eat for a couple days, or you're on some kind of a weird something and you just could eat your child, or none of you have children, but could eat your kid's legs. -4. I'm so hungry, I could eat just about anything placed in front of me. Ham, things that you don't like, spinach, even foods that I don't particularly like. Anything will do. Seriously, I need food ASAP. -3, I'm really hungry. My stomach is growling loudly. I feel weak and lightheaded, maybe even a little cranky. This is probably getting to hangry, like we would call it. -2, this is where I want you to start being aware of when you're actually physically hungry, not emotionally hungry, but physically hungry. I'm hungry. I don't feel so well. I'm a little bit no, I don't feel weak or lighthearted yet, but it's definitely time to eat something. -1, I'm kind of not super hungry. I'm a little bit hungry, and it's probably time to start figuring out what I'm going to eat next in the next hour or so. 0, I am not hungry. I'm not super hungry. I'm not super full. I feel neutral. I probably had a meal or a snack in the last hour or two. So that's the minus side. That's the hunger side. So now let's talk about the fullness side. Remember, we want you to stay between -2 and +2. So +1, I've had some food. I feel fairly satisfied. I could probably eat more, but I don't necessarily need to. +2, I'm satisfied, not stuffed, just about right. This could be a good time to stop eating. I'm getting too full. Another thing you'll notice if you start paying attention, when you get to that +2, you kind of like do a, you take a little bit of a break, take a sigh. +3, I am too full, not super gross, but I overdid it and I'm sleepy. Number 4, quite a bit overeating, way too full. I feel like I'm going to slip into a food coma. And number 5, think Thanksgiving dinner when you got to lay on the floor and unzip your pants. And at our house, we call this under compression. I am in pain. My stomach feels so full, it's really uncomfortable. I need to lie down in a dark room, and I don't want anyone around me. This really sucks. So that's what we want you to be thinking about this week, is eating between a minus and actually be aware. Am I really hungry? Am I bored? If you're bored, don't eat. Go away, go outside, do something, read a book, paint your fingernails, put a puzzle together until you get to -2. -2, then you eat enough food till you get to the +2. And it takes some work. I'm still working on this myself. And I'm actually working on eating foods that I really enjoy. So your assignment is to savor a meal or snack slowly, not on the phone, no distractions, savor the experience. And then we actually want you to figure out what your favorite power food is. Now, I like eggs. I like eggs and toast. That's kind of my power breakfast. I like yogurt with steel cut oats in it. Um, Tonight, I actually cooked. For those of you who know me, I've burned the kitchen down 3 times, but I made goulash and it turned out right. And I just had a small portion of it and I was satisfied. So that's what we want you to be doing. I do want to tell you that the winner of the drawing was Michaela. And Michaela already has the key, but so I'm going to give her something different. And the prize for next week is an Amazon gift card. So be working on savoring your food and determining your power food and your pleasure food. Let me tell you what else is going to happen next week. Next week, we're going to talk about style. What clothes make you feel good, powerful, happy, all of these. Now, those of you who know me knows that there's going to be some bling. If you're hanging out with me, there's going to be some bling. I happen to love it. Other people are comfortable in their hoodies and their leggings and don't need jewels or baubles. So come to class dressed in the outfit that makes you feel the best about yourself. So again, if there's any questions during the week, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. If we need to talk for a couple minutes on the phone, if you don't quite understand it, or if I talk too fast in the video, I am here for you. You can send me an instant message. You can give me a phone call. My number is on the bottom of all the emails. And I hope you have a really safe week. Oh, last thing. 2 of our gals from the morning class, one lives in Alabama, and she is perhaps on the what do you call it, path of the Hurricane Sally. So we want to keep her in our prayers. And then another one of our girls is living in Washington State. And while she's not right next to the fires, it is impacting so they live. So tonight, when you say your prayers, think about our 2 members that are in the hurricane and in the fires. And again, I wish everybody a really good week. And I will see you next week. Bye. I'm going to stop my share and end the meeting.